Hello guys. So for this episode we have something for some people a little bit older, but it's a very interesting problem overall. So we have a Porsche. It's a Boxster. It's a 2009. So nothing special really, but we're having a little bit of an issue. So as you can see, the clamshell's already open, so I'm assuming some of you are already guessing we're going to be talking about broken gears and convertible top failures on beautiful Boxsters. But in this situation, there's something additional that I think some people are having issues with. And since this one is the second time in a row that actually has came in with that issue, I'm gonna show you what the situation is. Again, that's not gonna be a DIY guide on how to fix the convertible top, but it will bring some clarifications on what's going on with this Boxster and correction to a very frustrating issue. So, car came in. The entire convertible top was disconnected because it was broken and it was just rattling and nothing would work. And then we also had some damaged parts. So this is the left side pivot. As you can see, it's bent, it's pretty beat up, and this pivot is actually pretty strong. So that's a red flag from the get-go, and you start wondering why does this happen. But here in this episode, I'm going to show you something that's pretty common. So Boxsters, as some of you know, let me actually open the convertible top a little bit, and I'll show you what exactly is it that we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to open the convertible top in somewhat of a service position. So you see those drains down there. So somebody did put netting, and yeah, don't worry, we'll clean the drains before we're finished with that car. But this netting is typically not there. This is something that people that had a certain issue would typically do after flooding. So the situation goes as follow. Where did the arm go? So the convertible top arms typically break, and the top section, it would just end up blocking the drain, and in a heavy rain it would actually flood the car underneath the seat. So there's a module right underneath the seat. It's called rear electronics for at least half of the Porsches I know. What would end up happening is once the module floods, it's dead. This module controls the convertible top, the rear lights, and a bunch of other stuff that we're not going to be touching on, but we are going to talk about what the convertible top does do based on the module. So one thing you gotta remember is there's a couple of different styles of Porsche Boxster convertible tops. Yeah, it could be the same year, it's the same model, but there's two versions of them. So the first version utilizes a clamshell or tonneau cover switch, which would typically be positioned right here. But this guy doesn't have it. So if you look at this plastic cover for the molder, this is really where the sensor would end up being. But this car does not have that sensor. So that would put it in the category, the car does not have that sensor, so the convertible top needs to be adjusted so the clamshell can actually close at the same time as the roof. And there's a couple of rods right here, and those rods are actually hydraulic, those guys. So what keeps tension on the tonneau cover is when the transmission actually pulls the rod down, this would expand and it would act like a shock. I would love to show you, but they're actually typically pretty hard to open, and the transmission boxes on those Porsches are actually pretty strong. So what ends up happening in this partial and this situation is we can turn the ignition on and we can close the top, and everything is gonna go perfect. I can see convertible top's closed, the clamshell is closed, but then you pull the handle, and what I'm gonna need you to listen for is we're gonna pull the handle here, and I'm gonna need you to listen for that extra movement that the convertible top makes. I don't know if you guys were able to hear it, but there's another thing that happens. So the car would actually say failure convertible top control, and this is basically what we're going to be talking about, and this is what all the babbling about modules and this and that was up until this case. So when this happens, when this error message appears, you have no control over the convertible top. So what you end up doing is you switch the ignition on and off, and then everything works again until you basically push the hook again. I can see convertible top's showing that it's not in limit position. Right now it's closed, it's in limit position. Everything's fine, right? So if we close the hook again, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna do that again, I just wanted to show you, is if we close the hook again, the motor would tug on the tonneau cover again, and it would actually keep tugging on it every single time you press on that turn the ignition on or off, or you close the hook. It's gonna do that every single time. And the situation we're gonna end up if we keep doing that is, remember how I said the transmissions are pretty strong? Well, it's gonna keep pulling the cover until it bends the rods or breaks the gears. But in this situation, we actually upgraded the gears to brass, so breaking the gears is no longer possible. I can see I have a couple of broken up gears exactly from a Boxster, and now we're reaching the pinnacle of what's going on and why is this car doing that. And as I already explained, this car does not have the switch on the tonneau cover, and the reason why this car keeps pulling the tonneau cover for when you lock it is because when this switch in the middle is actually present, this is what tells the car that the clamshell is closed. But when this switch is not present, essentially the car doesn't know that the tonneau cover is all the way down, so it keeps pressing on it until it actually manages to close it. But it's never going to know it's closed because the sensor does not exist. So one way you can tell that this is a problem is after you do that multiple times, you're just going to end up breaking your gears or your arm sockets, the guys that actually connect to the convertible top, because the original ones are plastic. And yeah, so remember how we said the module got flooded, most likely, so somebody added those drain meshes, and most likely that module's been replaced. And the reason why I know that is, if you can see, Here, I'm gonna show you what is it that you do exactly. I'm just gonna reset the connection here, just so if one of you guys have a PWIS, they can actually fix it themselves if you have a PWIS. But don't worry, there's other testers that can actually do coding for Porsche. So we're just going to go down, and where it says rear, this is the rear control module of the car, and this is what gets flooded. This is what gets replaced a lot, and as you can see, it's a 997 number, so it's basically shared between the Boxster, the 997, 911, and the same module is actually in the coupes and the convertibles. They just have different codings. And if we go to fault codes, as you can see, there's nothing relating to our convertible top folding out for one or another reason. So you go to coding and programming, you go to general codes, and you press next. And once you find the convertible top, it says new hood active. So I can see there's convertible top, new hood active, and it says value. So since we don't have the sensor here, this is actually the old one, not the new one. So technically this car has been coded incorrectly, and if you leave it coded as the new version coding, that would automatically mean that your convertible top is gonna keep folding out, and also you're gonna keep having that message on the dash saying that convertible top control is faulty. But now that we recoded it to the old style, which is this guy, when you close it, it no longer beeps in the back, but the clamshell needs to get adjusted a little bit differently. So right now, convertible top's closed. We can open it, we can close it, and we're never gonna get that fault again. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it a little bit, and as you can see, limit position. Everything's fine, convertible top moves, but it's no longer doing that extra movement at the end. So these screws that you see right there, the silver T40s, that's how you basically adjust the tonneau cover and the convertible top position, and this will need to be adjusted depending on which style convertible top you have. Let's for ease call them A and B. A would be the old one, which is this one, and B would be the newer style with a sensor. Unfortunately, I do not have one with a sensor here, but another telltale sign of which molder you have is this connector going to the molder. If it's the newer style, we would actually have an additional wire to it, and that wire would actually go to the sensor. So there's a situation that I don't know, but I'm guessing some people were struggling with, and some of the other people will be like, oh yeah, I replaced my convertible top control module or rear electronics because it got flooded, or I had another issue and now my convertible top doesn't want to work anymore, or it would work but it would constantly fault out when you close it. The difference being is that when you actually open the convertible top completely, the car no longer uses that sensor. So what will happen is you will never get the fault when the convertible top is actually fully open opposed to closed. And we have another bane of my existence. It's a 1990 Testarossa, but maybe I'll show you some stuff about that car some other time. And but yeah, going back to important things in life about the Porsche. All we have to do now is we had missing clips from the molder for the cables. So those two cables actually they move the gears, and we were missing the clips, so we were just waiting for them to come in, and I'm gonna do some extra adjustments on the tonneau cover just so I can pull it a little bit extra opposed to leaving the clamshell kind of crooked. But that's a story for another time. But we do get a lot of Boxsters, so maybe we'll touch base on one of those again at some point. And as far as we're concerned, it's time to go back to work and actually start finishing things up. I hope it helps some of you guys. I know that's not an uncommon thing to happen. And yeah, I really hope that it helps somebody. Peace out.